And salutations, I'm Gil.
And I'm Gil, and this is Strategic Prepper.
Good morning, Strategic Prepper community. Good morning. The weather is kind of clearing. The sky's kind of nasty. Going to be nasty all day. And we just had that storm pass through. It's kind of cold right now. So I want to give you guys a news update, but let's do that inside because, like I said, it's a little chilly. I mean, it's not too bad. It's sub-freezing though. But let's go inside and to the studio and a couple of things that popped up, and I really would like to discuss them with you. So hang on a second. All right, we got the fireplace going, so it should be nice and warm in here. All right, friends. So a couple of things I want to share with you. Gosh, these news stories just won't go away. Let me get this hat off. It's nice and warm in here. Quick little update. We are working, Junior and I are working on basically what we call tabletop exercises. These are drills. We have run a bunch of these, something that we can do for your community, and where we pick a scenario and we test your systems. We do this for a group. We can do this individually. Check our website out and at strategic-prepper.com. But anyway, today I want to talk about two different things. I want to talk about the economy and Russia. And so let me hold off on the economy because I'm going to give you some pointers, things that you can do to help yourself. So we'll cover that at the end because that's a longer session. And let me pull the Russia up. And this story is moving faster than one can imagine. And so the government, oh my gosh, what a bunch of trustworthy people. You've heard me say this before. The globalists, the left, all those, whatever you want to call them, the elites, I'll call them the elites. They telegraph what they're going to do. I know they've got their underhanded stuff that they do, but in the big picture, they tend to telegraph what they're going to do, and they often put that on the other side. When they say, the other side is going to take away all your liberties. Well, watch out, because that means they're the ones who want to take away your liberties. We've seen that. All right, we know that's happening. This one here, Russia planning Ukraine false flag as a pretext for invasion. This is what the Pentagon is saying. Now, what that means is they believe that the Russians are going to plan a false attack. And they say it's going to be very well choreographed, and they're going to have pictures and dead bodies and broken stuff, and they're going to have NATO equipment and all this other stuff. And so they've got all this detail. And I'd say, there'd be once upon a time I would believe, wow, this is really a threat. So here's what I believe, and I tell you, you guys know me. I believe this because these people lie all the time. Cannot trust them. Cannot trust our own leaders. How sad is that? But they are not trustworthy. This recent, whatever we want to call it, you know what I'm talking about, has been one lie after the other. And in fact, you can apply it to almost anything recently in the last bunch of years. But anyway, here's what I anticipate happening. So they may actually launch some attack, and when the Russians say, here's the evidence, they'll say, see, we told you it was going to be a false flag. So call it a double false flag. I think stories like this are kind of a false flag. And you guys heard me just a few days ago, or a week ago, I can't remember, talking about this Russia thing. Russia. I mean, come on, people. These people, they do this so often, they think we can't see through this. Well, actually, a lot of people can't see through this. And that's what's really sad. But here's what I envision. I told you that the elites want this war with Russia. The pandemic, whatever it's called, the I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to get shut out because I can't say anything to people if I am locked out of the social world here. the electronic world. But here's the deal. With Russia, it's not an issue that concerns us. You've heard me say this. You've heard me say that I believe that this whole inflammation of conflict with Russia, it really doesn't concern us. We're making it concern us. And I think it is a ruse, a false flag, to use their term, a ruse, to increase spending, increase more government control. The 2020 and 2021 effort is running its course. And we're going to call it the 2020 effort. All right, we all know what I'm talking about. The 2020 effort is running its course. And we just had Johns Hopkins come out and say lockdowns don't work, they're more harmful. I mean, how do you, Johns Hopkins University there, how do you counteract that? So I think this is a false flag by the government. They need a new emergency. This is all about U.S. domestic policy. It's not about, and other countries have their own reasons for pushing this, but within the U.S., it's about U.S. domestic policy. It's not about Russia. So I do think, and I've made this prediction, I do think that the elites will take a Russian crisis, and we talked about their intelligence prediction that says the right-wingers are going to attack the power grid, and you know what? Baloney. Come on, baloney. The right wing loves the power grid. We love electricity. We're not the ones out there saying go back to the Stone Age. Come on now. We love electricity. I love electricity. I'm using electricity right now. You're using electricity. We love electricity. So we're not the ones going to attack the power grid. But they're putting these feelers out there. The right wing is going to attack the power grid. Russia might use cyber warfare and attack the power grid. And Russia's the enemy. And, oh my gosh, it's coming. Watch. Russia is working with the right wingers. Therefore, we have to crack down on the right-wingers. By what right wing? When they say right-wing extremists, what they mean is regular Americans. What they mean is people who love America, who love the Constitution, and who love liberty. I love liberty. That's what they mean when they say right-wing extremists. And so this is coming. And it's going to be a pretext. And we need to be ready as preparedness-minded people. We need to make sure that we see that coming, and there's some things that we can do to prepare, and I had mentioned those in a previous video. One thing is that we need to network, and another is that we need to be alert and not fall for their ruses. If they open the doors to a Capitol building, don't rush in and go, yeah, it's open. No, they're going to turn that against us. There's always people that will do that. Don't do that. So we have to be wiser than they are, and we have to be more circumspect than they are in how we respond. This is their big game. Their big game is to crush dissent, to seize total power in the U.S. And so as you can see, I'm building on a theme from before. But we see this coming. We need to know this is coming. The signs are there. I had actually said, I don't know if I said it on video, but I know that I said it, that after the election last year, the globalists, the elites, have decided to make their move. And this alone will probably get me at some point, if I get enough subscribers. So kind of win, lose, whatever. If I get a bunch of subscribers, then I get noticed and then I get blocked out. But if I don't get the subscribers, the message doesn't get out. I don't know. So anyway, share this so that we can get this message out. The elites made the decision at the 2020 election to go all in for global control, for total control. And that's what this is about. And it has nothing to do with Russia. It has to do with globalist. And I mean, if you want to get biblical, I do believe it has to do with setting the stage for the Antichrist. And I've got some videos on that. And most of them are on my Patreon site, or on our Patreon site. But the first one is here on YouTube. And so I've got a link up here. But that'll give you a biblical background on this. But aside from that, because even if we don't understand the biblical side, we still can see the signs. Oh my gosh, they are setting the stage. So be ready, be alert, be wise. That's the Russia update. Don't fall for this false flag baloney. It's the elites telegraphing their own move that maybe they may launch something against Russia, or they may try to do their own false flag and claim the Russians attacked them, and then say, see, they're copying the idea, we caught them on the false flag. So either way, they're going to play it one of those two ways, I think. And there's always a third option that they could back off and say the time is not right. But I think it's going to be one of those two. Either they are going to launch some type of attack, and then when Russia says see, they're going to say, oh, we told you it's going to be a false flag, or they will set up their own false scenario where they say, see, the Russians attacked us, and it'll be false. I just don't believe these people, and they are telegraphing. I mean, why would you advertise this? If it were real, you would keep the evidence, and then when Russia says, hey, we got this going on, the West attacked us, and then you pull out your evidence. You do a John Kennedy and the UN. Here's our pictures. Boom, boom. Here's the satellite pictures. That's what you do if you're legit. You don't sit here ahead of time and say, we think it's going to be a false flag. So it could be one of a couple of things. Either they will actually attack, or they'll stage their own false flag and say that the Russians attacked them when in fact they set it all up. That's my prediction. And then they're going to use this crisis because the 2020 crisis is, or the 2020 event, or whatever I said I was going to call it, is waning, and they need a new one. And they're going to tie this to the right-wingers. So that's my prediction. So stand by, be ready, and be wise. All right, next story. The economy. New story came out. Factory orders plunged twice as much as expected. There's a concern. This is due to decreased spending. This is let's see. Economists had forecasted. This is a Fox News story by John Kerry on 3rd February. Economists had forecast orders tumbling to just 0.2%. Go down the article, and they talk about how they calculate and all this other stuff. And they're looking at durable goods, consumer price index, things that we buy. And at some point, they talk about how they extract the government spending. And it says the indication is that real durable good orders fell by more than 2%. That's a pretty significant deviation from the expectation. This economy is going in the wrong direction, and it's getting there fast. And we know this. We've talked about this. Other channels have talked about this. We even have mainstream media sometimes talking about this. And so there is a real concern. And this is just a further sign that there actually will be some retraction coming, is what I'm anticipating. And when I get into economics, I try not to predict, but I anticipate a significant retraction because our current leadership is doing everything they can to undermine a sound economy. And there's so many people out there. I'm not going to recap all the bits of info, but I do want to, if I can, let me reach over here and find my list and move it to the screen so that I can see it. All right. So we know that this is happening, and retraction is just bad for the economy. What ends up happening is companies sell less and less. Then they have to lay off people, and if people get laid off, they generally as a population, you have more unemployment. You got less spending, and with less spending, you have companies selling less and laying off more, and some companies going out of business. And that's kind of what happened with the Great Depression. And notice during the Great Depression that the government was still plugging along, and the government increased its control substantially over American lives. So more signs that we are not out of the woods yet, and things could be getting worse. And in fact, we keep talking about that here at Strategic Prepper because every time we think we're near the turnaround point, it just keeps getting worse. So here's some things that we can do. I've got this list, and I want to review this with you. The first one on the list, we have said this over and over for as long as we have been a channel. First one is eliminate your debt. As much as possible, you want to eliminate that debt. Debt is a millstone around your neck, and it will weigh you down. Next one, you want to figure out your monthly expenses, and you want to reassess your lifestyle. And you do that by reassessing your lifestyle. You do it by taking a look at your monthly expenses and lowering your expectations about what you want to do. Are you paying subscriptions to 6 different streaming services? Are you paying for 6 different streaming services? Well, cut it down to 2 or 1 or whatever. Are you going out to eat every week? Well, maybe it's a good time to reduce that to every once a month. But you're saying, but Gil, if everyone does that, then the restaurants will go out of business. Well, you know what? People are going to do that when they lose their jobs anyway. That's unfortunate. When factories close and people lose their work, they stop spending and they stop going out to eat, and it's going to have an impact. There is nothing that we as individuals can do to turn the ship around. This is a government policy issue. It's government policy caused, and it has to be corrected by government policy, or the backing off of government policy, like President Trump unleashed the reins and just allowed companies to do their thing. That's a government policy too. So it's going to be fixed at a level higher than us. We have to take care of our family. So reassess our regular expenses. Next one. Look for an alternate income stream. Starting a side hustle, a side job. So we're going to look for an alternate income stream. And could be small. Usually these things start small. And maybe you've got a pickup truck and you help people move. It costs them $65 to rent from a big store like Lowe's to rent a truck to have delivery, and you'll do it for $50. There's going to be people out there that want to save that money. You've got some trees on your land, and because you've got land, and maybe go out there, cut some trees, and start splitting some firewood. There's so many things out there. Good internet search will help us come up with ideas. But start a way to just start supplementing your income, and it doesn't have to be big. Next one, and we've talked about this before. Start working on an emergency fund, emergency recession fund. I really think that we ought to have 6 months of expenses saved up. And you're like, oh my gosh, I live paycheck to paycheck. Well, one of the ways we can do this is by reducing the monthly expenses, and that frees up capital within the budget. And then we take that extra capital and start to build the reserves. We do need to have a reserve, and it's very important that we start getting in that habit if we're not already there, living within our means. So we really need to do this. I also suggest that we start looking for alternative type markets, barter, things like that. I need this from you, and I'll do this for in exchange. And there's sites that organize that. But start in a local community, local Facebook page, local paper. I don't know if anyone reads papers anymore. So those are some of the things that we can do. And when we have these economic downturns like this, I do also want to talk about some opportunities, because they do bring opportunities, and we want to be alert to them. So let me recap some of the things that we can do. We want to eliminate our debt as much as possible. We want to reassess our regular expenses, our lifestyle. So by looking at the monthly expenses and lowering our expectations about what we're going to do every month. Let's see. We want to build an emergency fund. Slowly start building that emergency money fund, and we want to look for alternative means, barter, and other alternative markets. And so we want to do those things, and so we want to prepare ourselves. All right, three opportunities that come when the economy turns down. First is bargain shopping opportunities. Reason being, it comes from a couple of different ways. Companies get a little desperate to sell their products, and sometimes they will have some pretty great deals. I remember way back when steel buildings half off if you order now and things like that. So there may be some opportunities. The other opportunity, and I know, I can see it. Y'all gonna see, no way, that's horrible. You're gonna say that as soon as I say this. You look for people selling their stuff. Somebody's out of job, they need to sell their stuff, and they'll give you a great price because they need money to feed their kids. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm taking advantage of that person. You're not. You're helping the person. If John Smith wants to sell his tractor, needs to sell his tractor to save his kids, and you go buy it at X price, if you don't buy it at X price, some other Yahoo's going to come around and buy it at X minus whatever. And John Smith is going to have a little less money to feed his family. He's going to sell it for the highest price he can get it. And if that is you, then you have helped him get a good price. Whether you buy his tractor or not, he's going to sell his tractor because he needs to feed his family. So help him out and buy his stuff. And so you're not taking advantage of people. You are helping. You're taking advantage of the overall circumstance. But when you buy from someone that needs to sell, and if you're the one they sell to, that's because you gave them the highest price, the best price. So don't think too negatively about that, and be ready for those opportunities. One thing is these situations teach us about better financial preparedness and financial discipline. So that's kind of a soft benefit. But the other one, the big one, for those of you who are preparedness-minded people, which is why you're here, but you don't yet have your own property, real estate prices tend to drop, and real estate tends to become more affordable. Now, that's not universally true, but we might be able to find some deals out there. Now, there's a counterbalance to that. There's the billionaires are trying to buy up all the farmland and everything, so that's put a strain on the prices. But you may be able to find some deals. So, some benefits, bargain shopping opportunities, better financial discipline, and real estate prices. You might be able to get that piece of land that you've been wanting. So, prepare. We've got financial signs are saying that we're heading in a downward spiral, and with inflation going up, orders going down. Usually when inflation goes up, it means the economy's booming. We're not. We're heading to stagflation. You guys heard me. One of my very first videos early last year, I talked about this. And Junior and I, we talked about stagflation and the signs that this was coming. And at that time, most people were like, man, you guys, nobody's saying this. We're crazy. Actually, we didn't have many subscribers in those days. We had like 20. So nobody was saying anything. But if they were watching, the doubters out there were saying that there's a very minor blip. But the signs were there a year ago. The signs are stronger now. That we're heading towards some serious stagflation, which means the economy sucks, and yet we have high inflation. And they normally don't go together. Usually when you have high inflation, that's because the economy is just roaring and everyone's got money and everyone is spending and driving prices up. It's not really what's happening. So anyway, some words of caution, and hopefully this video finds you well, and Hopefully that you've got some good ideas. I'd like to know from you guys what you think about both of these situations, about the financial situation and what you were doing. And I would like to know what your thoughts are on the Russia crisis. And I'd like to hear what people think. So share in the comments. Let's have some discussions on these two. And please share and thumbs up and all that other stuff. And visit us on Patreon, where we get into more detail on a lot of these topics. And if you would like a drill, an exercise, a practice of your systems, contact us. We do that. We do it well. All right. Stay safe and stay prepared.